Hello, hello, hello. This is your captain speaking, and you're listening to Paradise Tycoon Weekly AMA Spaces. Welcome, all. Great to see you tuned in. We have a very, very exciting AMA coming up. I'm here with Harry. Harry, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello, everybody. What's up? What's up? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. And the reason why I am specifically super excited about this week's AMA is because we are going to we did just decided that we are going to give you quite a bit of information. It will be very information heavy week. Um, Not forgetting your questions either. Hopefully, this won't be another episode of us rambling about it. The topic for 50 minutes and then going to questions 5 minutes. But we do have a lot of cool, exciting stuff to announce and tell you guys. So, yeah, very, very excited to be here now.
Yeah, definitely. This is a very special episode of the Paradise Tycoon AMAs. We're in full leak mode. Uh, to be honest, I think we're gonna. As Timo mentioned, we're gonna tell a lot about what's going to happen in the near future. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no bounds this time. No one's gonna pull the plug on the spaces. So yeah, we're just gonna free roam the whole hour. About last week, let's do a really quick recap and then get straight in the business. Last week, it was a bit of a slow week, to be honest, like to be totally transparent. But I think this is probably one of the last ones in Paradise Tycoon that we're not running like any events. Um, because there's something going on in community, obviously. Like there was a giveaway on Discord with Tokyo Beast, a really cool project that I'm personally interested in. And I know Yusha is getting ready to collect immutable passport wallets from users that have Paradise coupons assigned for their AVAX CGN wallets. Those of you who don't know, players were able to collect Paradise coupons during alpha phase of the game, and these coupons are giving some discounts for the Genesis Island pre-sale. These coupons, however, were assigned for Avalanche wallet because before we decided to build an immutable, we were going to do it on AVAX. So now, if you're one of the lucky coupon holders owners, keep an eye on Discord announcements. Yusha is going to collect your immutable wallets, and you can ensure that you'll get the discount you deserve for the pre-sale. But anyway, yeah, it's been a bit of a slow week, I think. Not running in-game events, and probably like the last weeks that will ever in the future, because once we get started on the final play to airdrop event, that'll carry us for some time, and then we prepare for launch. And as you know, after launch, we'll be having ongoing events all the time.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna definitely ramp up the activity in the coming weeks. Maybe this is a very good stepping stone towards like what's happening next. Would you like to share a bit about that, Timo?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think what's happening next is a big part of this week's AMA. Mainly because I think like 90% of the questions on Discord is when this, when that, and yeah, it's not just when token or when DGE, but like when play to airdrop event, when Genesis Island pre-sale, when Moani pre-sale, and I'm very excited that I can give some details on the timeline finally. Like this is very yeah, it's been a bit of a delay. I know. I think many of you guys kind of expected that the play to airdrop event would already like start in the middle of August, and maybe the initial plan we had was actually that we'd start around mid August, but we kind of the initial plan was also that the game update that we're working on was supposed to be just a a polish and fix, just doing some minor upgrades into the game, but we decided to make a bigger update, include the item tool economy update that we've been talking a little bit in the past, but today we're going to share details of what that update actually is. But basically, this is the reason why we haven't yet started the play to airdrop event. So, first, we'll update the game, and that's going to happen next week. But you want to know when the play to airdrop event starts and the money pre sale on the Genesis Island. And I understand that because it's all connected, right? You can't buy the island without money and so on. To continue a little bit here, the reasons behind and how we kind of design these pre-sales and the whole timeline. First of all, we want to ensure and be like 100% sure that the Genesis Islands will be going to those of you who have actually played the game. Like, I'm not saying hundreds of hours, but played the game. And I think we are in a very special situation compared to many other Web3 games before, because we can actually pinpoint those players who have played the game a lot. And that's the reason for that is simple. You can't have money unless you have played the game. At least like the minimum is to collect the passive NFT income. If you have a Paradise Pass NFT, you would get passive income. So that's the minimum. That's a bare minimum. But still, you have to play the game to get that. And that's the reason why we want to make sure that the Genesis Islands are going to go to the players. And to make sure of this, we're doing a couple of things. First of all, the play to airdrop event will have similar mechanics to the free tier in Paradise Pass, meaning that you won't be claiming money directly after completing tasks, but you'll get points that will be converted to airdrop based on the ranking at the end of the event. So the same thing happens here. And basically, this is like you'll still get the money, but it won't happen until the end of the event, right? Did I say that correct, Harry?
Yeah. That's exactly how it goes. And about the play to airdrop campaign, maybe I can shed a bit of light about it, like when it's gonna happen. So the play to airdrop campaign and the next events will begin in about 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks. Come on, that's right around the corner. And the Genesis Island pre-sale also could start before that or shortly after. But in either case, those who already have enough to purchase the island will have an advantage. And furthermore, the sales will be done in 2 stages. We'll first open it for the Paradise Pass and coupon holders. So if you have a Paradise Pass or coupons, you will have a you will get in there early, and then for the rest. And well, basically about the Genesis Islands, the supply of or especially the rare islands, is large enough. So uh, we should have some islands, especially rare ones, left until the end of the play to airdrop event. So those who rank well can still get an island. So yeah, that's about the
Yeah, precisely.
yeah
So yeah, I think like and with this, we are making sure that those who played the first seasons, right, who have the money already, can get their islands first. But we're still like opening up an opportunity for the new players, those who maybe collected some money during season two, but not enough for the island. So you can participate
Mhm.
in the play to airdrop event, and at the end of the event, when we airdrop the money, that's when you can buy your Genesis islands. And because of the supply, I'm pretty sure there's still left, at least rare islands, which should be affordable for those who weren't around in the season one, or doesn't have a massive amount of coupons or paradise passes. So I think this is like the perfect way for us to reward those who were early on, but still leave the window of opportunity for the players that are joining in a little bit later, right?
yeah, exactly. And it's really important, as you mentioned, that we get the islands in the hands of players and those that have been around for a long time. We have been around for a long time already, so yeah,
Precisely.
it's
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the key thing. We've always been community first, and game first, and
yeah,
those two things go hand in hand. And 2 weeks, so yeah, not a long wait anymore. We'll start sharing details about what kind of events and tasks you can expect fairly soon. It'll be a bit different kind of event compared to season one and season two for sure, but I'm sure you'll love it. So yeah, that's one of the things we are doing to ensure that the Genesis Islands are going the right hands, so to say. Another big event coming up now is the Moani pre-sale, obviously, for Paradise Pass holders. And with the pre-sale, we had basically two options when we were designing the pre-sale. Um, the first one was that we could give our community the best terms possible, lowest money price possible, or we could give them instant money so that the pre-sale participants could buy Genesis Islands, right? Now, the second option, giving instant money so anyone going to pre-sale could buy money with USD basically, would mean we would open Genesis Island sales for those who might not play the game. And as I mentioned before, we don't want to do that. We want to ensure that the islands go to the right hands. So again, we want to ensure that we also give the best possible deal for our community. And for this reason, the pre-sale will be done with the same terms as for the investors in our private funding round. And this means that those who participate in the pre-sale of Moani token will get a lower price than, for example, in the public IDO, that are typically arranged by platforms like and launchpads like CDFI. But we also need to follow the vesting schedule of the private round. There is a unlock of tokens at the token generation event. So theoretically, this part could have been given in game beforehand, and we considered that. But it's a relatively small amount of tokens, and the amount of work to organize this would have been organized for those who've been buying in pre-sale would have been such a massive amount of work that it just doesn't it's not really worth it. But yeah, the deal is very good. you'll get it with the same terms as anyone investing in private round, which these are typically like super private. That's why they are called private. But we wanted to give our communities the same terms. It's the best we can give, without getting into trouble ourselves. uh, and at the same time, we're limiting again Genesis Islands to only those who are playing the game. I think it's a win-win situation. I know that most of the Paradise Pass holders that are active gamers can buy their islands in game anyway, and this way they can also buy money from the pre-sale with the best possible terms out there. So there you go. Um, these, these you asked what's happening next. So yeah, game update next week, soon after the final play to airdrop event, pre-sale island pre-sale, and Moani pre-sale early next month as well. So it's going to be really busy and exciting beginning of September for the Paradise tycoons and the community.
That's a lot of stuff coming up. a
Yeah,
lot of stuff to take in also, but yeah, things are progressing, and yeah, this is really exciting. Also, we're closing in on the big big launch and big TGE, and yeah, looking forward to it.
yeah, for sure. Things are ramping up, and with the Play to Airdrop event, I'm like very confident that we'll continue to ramp up the user numbers and activity, the community, all of that. I mean, obviously, it's again more focused on Web3 audience, but we already showed through the season 1 and season 2 that we over doubled the
Mhm.
amount of active users. So it's going to be extremely exciting, exciting times for us. But yeah, the update is also exciting. I mentioned somewhere that this week's topic is actually the big game update, which
Mhm.
was initially maybe not supposed to be such a big update, but it somehow just kind of evolved into one. I don't know what happened. The focus is kind of, I think the focus is on economy. Do you, or there's other stuff happening as well, but I think economy is one of the big part of it. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think the update can be um, split into three main things, three categories. So I think the main categories are um, like players should notice a much bigger effect from upgrading tools, and especially having NFTs or using consumable boosts. Uh, Second, to limit extracting resources indefinitely without effort or using any resources. And third, make the progress of the players more straightforward, so it's more clear what needs to be upgraded and crafted to progress. So I think these are the three different categories, and yeah, it's economy
I
heavy.
love that.
Yeah, it's economy heavy, but it's also a lot of like simplification and making more sense in the game.
Yeah, and for
But
I think it also like addresses a wide range of players, not just new players. Obviously, like making the progress in the game more straightforward. That's something that new players are gonna benefit from, and maybe that's something that definitely was required. And now that we are bringing in a lot of new users with the Play to Airdrop event, that's super important. But at the same time, we also address some things that the like hardcore gamers are maybe sending us some feedback as well. Like they are minting NFTs, but not necessarily really seeing the effect,
mhm.
and also like crafting these most rare. consumables, but not really seeing the effect. So I think it's a great update because it kind of it's a game update for everyone. It's just new players or old players.
Yeah, yeah, and we definitely listen very carefully. Uh, our players are the priority when it comes to having the game as fun and also making as much sense as possible. The having clear differences in the tools. For example, it's very important to have a sense of progress in the game, and having the NFTs is definitely something that we have noticed that they are not as powerful as they should be, but they will become more powerful. And as we are operating a live ops game, this is the beauty of it, because we can also balance things so that they make more sense in the long run. That's how live ops games always run, and we definitely want to have the NFT holders happy, but of course other players also, so that people can feel how they progress in the game. So yeah, this is a pretty big update when it comes to all these things, and maybe we should go through the three different categories like one by one, and maybe discuss a bit about them if there's something like uh, for
Yeah,
it.
I think that sounds really good. I mean, you kind of categorize the update into three different main I think main updates. Like
Yeah,
first of all, the upgrade effect on tools, then limiting extracting resources, and straight making the game progress more straightforward. Yeah, let's start with the tools. So yeah, let's go through the ways and the approach how we are amplifying the effect from upgrading your tools.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So uh, basically, the first one, the bigger upgrade effect for tools, you will basically need to upgrade your tools in order to access all resources. So, for example, to get rare resources, you will need at least uncommon tools. And to get epic resources, you will need at least rare tools, and so forth. So, this gives us more options to tweak the drop rates too, and we might actually increase the drop rates of the rarest items a bit, because they are now gated. So I think this is pretty cool when it comes to having those more valuable and more difficult to craft tools. You actually see the benefit straight away in those tools. Like having a rarer tool gives you uh, rarer items and resources. So this is this should make a really big difference between the different level of tools. And
Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely, because you kind of like you can see the effect immediately dropping something that was not, in game available for you before. And the interesting part is the tweak in the drop rates as well. Like I had a chat with the game designer about that yesterday, and um, told me basically that because like the uh, the more common the tool, the more players are using it. So restricting the, let's say, epic or legendary resources from the players using the most common tool actually boosts the drop rate quite a bit without changing the overall supply of these resources. So we can actually increase the super low drop rate of, let's say, legendary resources without having to fear that they will be, flooding to auction house because of this restriction. And I think that's overall that's going to have a really good, healthy effect on the game economy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's so much easier to communicate these gates to players than like having different drop rates or something like that. That's purely like number science. So it's easier to also to say that when you get a better tool, you get better resources, you get access to those. So yeah, this is I think this is one of the biggest um, changes to the tools so far. Like how they actually benefit, like having better tools. Um, Maybe we could jump to the next one because it's very close to the topic. The second one is limit extracting resources. So basically, this is about tools again, and this is another big change to how tools are used in the game. We will have tool durability in the game. So each tool will have a durability, and after you use those tools, the durability decreases and they uh, break down eventually. So you when you have higher rarity tools, they have higher durability, so you don't have to rebuild them as often. But yeah, you will eventually break down the common tools quite soon. So you need to get better tools or new tools instead of the broken ones, and uh, that creates a pretty cool new core loop to the game, and NFTs are unbreakable. That's something we wanted to have. So they are really valuable. When you have a an NFT tool, it's unbreakable. Uh, at the moment, you cannot also repair the tools. Uh, we didn't want to go that route. It's possibly coming in the future, but might not. This is something we are still balancing, but now you get new tools by crafting them or buying them from the auction house. So this whole feature was designed to not become a nuisance, but it will incentivize players to progress instead of just harvesting resources using common tools because, well, they break quite easily. Uh, this is also one of the many measures we're taking against botting, as it adds complexity to the process uh, of extracting stuff. So basically, it makes botting more difficult. This is not the ultimate like feature to uh, like have all botting uh, done for like restricted, but this is one of the measures that makes it more difficult to extract using botting techniques. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I can
yeah,
interrupt a little bit on that. Like, there's not a single way to remove botting. Like anyone who says that they prevented botting is lying or doesn't have a game that's good enough for anyone to be bothered. In the end, we have like a lot of different mechanics already in place for prevent botting. Some of them are automated, some are on the server side, like watching every move that players do, searching for patterns, searching if someone's playing in sync, looking at money flows and stuff like that. The other part that's very efficient in preventing botting is in the game design. Like if you kind of like make botting like insufficient, like inefficient enough. That's one way to prevent it as well. And if you kind of like want to do the minimum effort and just log into the game, create a common axe, and start bashing trees down to extract the basic resources, and you do this like a week in a row, now the axe is going to break down like for that sort of a bot many times a day. So they would always have to go build a new one, and the returns would be basically just diminishing all the time, making the botting really like a pain in the ass, so to say. And this is like just one of the ways to make it a little bit more inefficient. And when we add this kind of things into the game, eventually it just makes more sense to play on a one account, for example, and progress in the game the same way that a proper regular player would do, and that can be even more profitable, you know. So rather than get stuck on extracting common resources, it now makes sense to actually build better tools and progress more like in an organic way, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And well, this is a very natural step into the third point of the or big category of the update, like having clear game progress. We now emphasize the progress more. All crafting is learned through blueprints now, for example, and no more guessing what needs to be crafted to learn a new blueprint. And furthermore, all tools can be crafted with resources only, so no need to craft every tool to craft the second one. You can skip it if you happen to have the resources. So um, these changes also give us the option to make the crafting UX uh, cleaner, cleaner too. But yeah, I think these all are tied together to have more complexity into the tools, more upgrade effects. Better tools are actually a lot better, and they're also um, much clearer to actually get the better tools. So I think this is yeah, this is a pretty um, cool update when it comes to having a lot of stuff just by like a lot of stuff that affects the economy, thwarts bots, and makes the game. I think it makes the game more enjoyable also because it has
For sure.
more, more depth into it.
For
And
sure. I mean, and you know, imagine the durability part. You know, your tools breaking down, and I think it's really closely tied to the changes in blueprints. So that now, if you craft a heavy stone axe, you don't need a stone axe as part of the materials to craft that. So I think that's closely tied to the durability, because if you now if your stone heavy stone axe breaks, you don't actually have to craft a stone axe first, which would be like it would be quite painful, to be
mm,
honest. So you can just craft the heavy stone axe instead. And I think, you know, like you said, it's more clear now. You only learn to craft new items via with the blueprints. So there's no guessing anymore. Like, yeah,
yeah,
how can I do this and how can I do that? It's just all blueprints, and you can purchase them from the vendor. You can get them as quest rewards and so on. And for a new player, especially, this is going to be so much easier to comprehend.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And uh, in addition to all these uh, economy related things, we will have more UX improvements in the game and bug fixes. And one big thing that we have been missing um, from the game since the beta started, we're now introducing foliage regrowth. So the grass will grow back on your island. So that's going to be a bit of
That's going to be annoyance. So you have to tend to your island. If you don't, it's going to be covered in grass and weed. But there is a silver lining to this cloud, and that is we have also enabled the secondary drops. Some of you guys who played the alpha remember that when you use your scythe on the foliage on the weeds, you might have get a drop like a flower or something like that. So we're also bringing that back. So it's
Yeah.
not all bad.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And yeah, it's actually pretty satisfying to clean your island when it's fully regrown. It's a total
For
jungle, and
sure. Like,
you go.
yeah, it's a proper Zen moment for me. Like, yeah, it's definitely it feels good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and in addition to that, we also bring some under the hood things that prepare the game for the upcoming event launch. So a lot of work has been put into this update, and I'm sure there will be some updates before the event and during the event to possibly fix some bugs and stuff like that. But this is a really big update, and I'm really looking forward to hear your thoughts about like when you get your hands on this update. Like how do you like all the changes? And I also hope that you guys get the zen moment out of the scything the grass
For sure.
away from your from your islands.
For sure, yeah, and there's also this is again more for the new players, but there's additions and improvements in the tutorial. So like these short video clips coming up that are going to be showing new players what to do, like how to plant crops and stuff like that. There will be a guide book in game to help new players out. That's also quite a
Yeah,
cool feature.
yeah, that's a good point. There's a plethora of tutorial videos that show the how the game is played. Because
Yeah.
let's be honest, it's there's a lot of stuff you can do in the game already, and for new players, it's always a lot when they come into a new game. It's a lot to learn all the mechanics, and yeah, videos are a good way to show them easily how things are done in the game. So yeah,
That's the modern way to do it for sure. Yeah, I think we might still like miss something, smaller things on the update, but these aren't probably
yeah,
major release notes. Looking forward to that. So it's going to be coming out next week. We don't have the exact date yet, but we're already testing. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you have any idea? Like, should we put it out next Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that?
Something like that. I think midweek is perfectly safe. Uh, and we want to push the update out well before the season 3 or
Yeah,
the event starts, so we get data, and if there are any bugs, we get some time to fix them. So yeah, so somewhere
absolutely.
around that time, midweek.
Yeah, and absolutely. All right, that's great. Let's so 40 minutes already
Yeah,
going on. So let's take some questions. We have, I think we can go on for 15 minutes. So let's take some AMA questions from Discord.
let's
You
go.
guys have been again busy asking the toughest and um, toughest best questions ever. So let me start by answering this one. Any explanation as to why we removed the sign from the top of the screen to travel to Port Ohana and the island? So the person asking these questions is referring the shortcut icon on the user interface in the top part of the screen that you could use to instantly teleport to Port Ohana or other player islands. We removed that shortcut icon because basically the user interface is getting a bit crowded. There's quite a bit of different icons there. And also we like to put actions into the game world whenever it's possible, because that's much more immersive. You know, comparing two options: either you press this icon on the screen or your character interacts with a boat. That's way more immersive. I know that the shortcut button was very easy to use, and it was quick. But at the same time, yeah, it kind of takes away the immersion a little bit. And also, we kind of like to see people walking in Port Ohana, like walking from the auction house to the harbor instead of just disappearing when they're teleporting away. So, that's the reasoning behind this change. And maybe the next step is that you guys get to actually see an animation of the boat leaving from the harbor or something like that, to boost the immersion even more. Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that was a good question, and I think a lot of people were thinking about that. But yeah, maybe I take the next one. In the upcoming fishing competition, will you use the 5-minute method 5 times like before? So this is like how many tries you have in the event. We previously had some events that had like 5-minute time limits, and you could try like 5 times or something like that. But yeah, and somebody replied, no, 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 that is unacceptable. I didn't buy 12,000 worms for no reason. So basically, in the upcoming fishing competitions, we have, and other competitions actually, not just fishing, we have multiple different types of competitions coming up, and some will have try limits, and some might not have them. So I'd recommend just keeping your worms safe if you have 12,000 worms in your inventory. um, they might come in handy, but yeah, we will have a lot of different kinds of events where you will see when they are live. But yeah, keep your worms safe.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm seeing a question here. What will be the purchasing process be like for the Genesis Islands? We haven't 100% confirmed this yet, so I might be leaking something that is not going to happen exactly the way I'm leaking it, but we're going to keep it very simple, and it's going to be happening in game. So I think the initial plan is that you kind of like you log in, you go to Porto Hana, you find a island real estate salesperson or whatever, and you purchase a certificate for the specific island rank. And then when the time comes, you'll be able to mint the island for having that certificate. And discounts and eligibility for the sale is directly looked from your player account and the IMX immutable passport wallet and player account. So I guess it's going to be something like this. We're keeping it very simple, just like buying something with money. Um, yeah, is it that something about like that, Harry? What do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think?
yeah. I think it's gonna be something like that. It's gonna be super simple. Yeah, yeah, and in the game. Um, Next question. Um, can you tell us a little about how many winners there will be in the fishing contest and what prizes it will bring? So, as this will be a part of the play to airdrop event, so I think you could imagine like getting a lot of badges in free tier, and like we did in previous seasons, and we might give some additional rewards too. But I think the event rewards will be um, revealed later. But I think there will be a lot of winners and getting badges and some other loot when you rank well. And maybe next question for me too. I miss my NFT rod very much. Yeah, I miss it too. So basically, we have had some issues with in-game abilities for the fishing rods and some possibly some other tools, but we're fixing the NFT rods and other tools with issues in the next updates. Also, we have been working hard on those. So hang tight, they're gonna be fixed. Whatever is wrong with them, they're gonna work in the next update.
It's all gonna be fixed. Everything.
Yes.
We're fixing it all. I'm gonna take a couple of questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Related to the NFTs, related to the durability. Someone at the Discord is asking like, or maybe being concerned about people can then like transfer NFTs between different accounts because they don't have durability, and thereby avoiding like not having to repair, and they can just extract resources. And probably I think the person asking this question is referring to possible botting. And just repeating myself a little bit here, but as I mentioned, it's not about preventing all botting, like you can't do that, but it's just adding those extra steps, making it more difficult, making it more troublesome for those that are trying to extract resources. And if you have to go through the trouble of buying NFTs, first of all, it's going to cost you something, and then going through the trouble of transferring it between different accounts, that's already like way more time consuming compared to what you can do now by just go there with a common item and extract as much as you can. So it's about creating these fences and obstacles and hoops that eventually it's just too much effort for anyone to extract the basic resources, collect 1,000 branches and put those into auction house and sell them for one money or whatever. It just becomes like too much effort and hassle, so they don't do it. That's how we can prevent this sort of unnatural game behavior or something like that. It's a good question and something that we've been talking about. I also want to just emphasize that this durability thing is not just to prevent bots. I think it's like guiding players towards a natural progression in the game to get better tools and so on. It's not just about bots, it's for all the players, and that's how they get to contribute into the ecosystem by spending resources. So a couple of more. I have a few quickies here. One question is the money supply for the fishing competition and quest pass different? I assume they mean Paradise Pass. Yes, basically the next Paradise Pass season will be starting at launch. So both of the beta Paradise Pass seasons are now done. And the next time you'll get to do daily tasks in Paradise Pass will be at launch. If you have a Paradise Pass NFT, you will get, again, you get to claim money rewards every day. How much is the total supply for the additional season? The total supply is not confirmed yet, but we are trying to make it as big as the first and second season. So we took 10 million from the second season, and then you guys have spent maybe almost 10 million money by now. That's all going into the reward pool, and then we are taking some from a game rewards allocation. and marketing, so we can basically pump up the reward pool and uh, make sure that it's gonna be rewarding event for you guys. And one more, if I may, how long is the additional season? Is it 2 weeks, or because it's an additional one? It's not going to be only 2 weeks. It's going to be longer. Even though it's additional, we decided not to make it any shorter than previous seasons. In fact, it could be even longer because this time the tasks will not be time based. You don't have to play every day. You can complete the tasks whenever you want, and we'll be adding them as we go. So it won't be as intensive as the previous seasons. And for that reason, it also makes sense that it can go on for a little longer. And the fishing tournament or tournaments are going to be part of this event. So it's not just about fishing.
Yeah, good questions and good answers. I will take a couple of questions also about the fishing competition. Will a special event fish would be added during the competition period, like golden fish or something like that? That's a really great idea. We'll be starting off with the current fish in the game, but we've been fiddling with the idea of having some special fish too. So let's see. That's a great idea. Anyways, another.
Is that special fish by any means? Could it be the legendary mahi mahi?
Oh, it. Oh
Anyone
yeah.
anyone in the spaces that remembers the legendary mahi mahi? Drop an emoji right away if you know what I'm talking about. There
Yeah.
was this um, there was this legendary fish. I think that was like a year ago or more than a year ago in game that had ridiculously low drop rate, like
Yeah.
0. I think it was like 0.001% or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to bring her back.
Yeah. It was truly a legendary fish, or even a mythical fish, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's true. And you know, there's if you see anyone on Discord with a role master fisher, then these guys have actually called mahi mahi.
Nice. It could possibly be that fish. We definitely need to look into bringing mahi mahi back. Um, Another question about the leaderboard of the competition. Can the fishing leaderboard score be viewed every day? And you can, during the event, you can see all active and past events leaderboards whenever you want. It's all real time. And when we get to the end of the events and competitions, we process the results and make sure there's nothing fishy going on in the fishing competition. So expect a small delay after
Oh my god.
after these events to have the final results. So there will, yeah, the leaderboards are real time, but the rewards will be distributed after we check them out.
I wasn't able to focus on the answer at all because of the amazing pun.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, we were almost out of time. Fortunately, when the jokes get that bad, it's time to get
Mhm.
it's time to quit. No, just kidding. But yeah, we are kind of running out of time, so maybe one question each, and then we wrap it up. I'll go first. Any plans to make island terrain editable, like buying blocks to increase the space? So that's an interesting idea. I think what the person asking this question means is that right now if you use the building blocks you can only go upwards and you can't really build anything on top of those except decorations, and that's fairly obvious. If you could just freely extend your island as much as you want, there would be no point in buying higher ranked islands. So that's why you can also only build decorations on top of the building blocks. But this is kind of a fun idea that there would be different kind of blocks that you could actually use to increase the size of the island, like extend it. Um, I think this could be like a minor upgrade to your island compared to a getting a higher rank island, because there's a big difference between common and rare island. The size of the rare island is already like tens of percents larger. You can definitely feel and see the size difference, not to mention epic or legendary. So this could be like a minor upgrade, getting a little bit more space. Maybe it's just enough for one more building. um, to be honest, this is not planned. We haven't really discussed it. I think someone may have brought it up before, but it hasn't been discussed. I could see something like this developed in post launch, to be honest. Yeah, what do you think, Harry? Are you a fan
Yeah,
of the idea?
uh, I think it's like a Minecraftian way to look at things. So make the terrain uh, like terraforming, basically, to have that kind of thing. But the land blocks, we have a lot of decorations, different kinds of blocks to build the islands. So I'm also I'm like a bit divided on this subject, because the reason for having a limited amount of land to build buildings on is very important, to have the different rarities for the islands have the impact they have, as you mentioned. And it's I think it's something that could, like, we could have some like minor things, yeah, like minor extensions, but that's
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
kind of like yeah, actually, like I think like one slot, like one grid block that you'd have to buy with money,
yeah,
something
that
like that, maybe.
that could work, that could work. Yeah, we will definitely take a look into this. Yeah, I think post launch, this is something like we could do post launch. But yeah, let's take a look at that. Uh, um, it's a good idea, anyways. Interesting idea. Uh, Maybe last question for me. Will there be a leaderboard in Port Ohana, or a big sign that shows who caught the biggest fish, now that we have the weight and point system? And I think this refers to like having this kind of like a leaderboard for all time biggest fish, or something like that. Not just the events. And I think it's a great idea to have the player's name and avatar, and maybe the biggest fish ever caught uh, in paradise. Like, I think that would be pretty cool. You can of course see the your personal history in the events, like the fish that you have caught. You can see uh, all your personal uh, fish during the events. But I think outside the events, that would be pretty nice to have the biggest fish ever in Port Ohana.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like you could have a little booth in Port Ohana where the fish is actually hanging from a hook, so you could see the fish and then the name of the person who caught the fish, and obviously the size. That would be really really fun way to flex your fishing skills a little bit. And yeah, I mean, also kind of like for a new player when they enter in Port Ohana, they would see like, wow, there's that big fish. That's kind of, I think that's a cool way to do that. And for those who don't know, if you haven't fished in a while, now when you caught a fish, you can see the weight of the fish, and there's like a scoring system as well. So go give it a try if you haven't tried it already. Yeah, I think we're done. It's 1 hour. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
we wrap it up.
let's wrap it up. We had a lot of things to discuss and a lot of good questions in this AMA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope someone's going to do the recap. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing Planko on the chat, but maybe he'll have a chance to listen to this later on. So I hope that we answered your questions when this, when that. At least we have a timeline now of what's happening, and it's going to be exciting 3 weeks. Every week we'll be bringing something new to the table. Um, and yeah, next week I think we'll do this AMA, and probably we have launched the update as well, so we can answer questions related to that or anything else.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds good. Tune into our Discord and X and other channels to keep up with all the updates and announcements we're going to make. So yeah, I think this is
Perfect.
it for this week. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure again. And yeah, see you at Porto Ana.
See you
Bye.
guys. Bye bye.